Hey, everybody. Welcome into our Wednesday webinar. Happy to have you guys here talking today about survey hacking, getting that first survey hack deal in 2025. Dan should be with us here in a few minutes. As you guys hop in here, let me get a question of the day here first. Let's go. Welcome. Again, welcome in, everybody. Max, welcome. Let's get question of the day. What should the question of the day be, Max? Oscar, what's up? Thomas, how you doing? Happy to have everybody here. We will get started here in a few minutes talking about survey hacking. More of a walkthrough today than a slideshow or anything like that. I really want to walk how to choose these markets, how to target, how to pull the list, everything like that. My video is not great here, Dan.
Looks a little cloudy.
No, it's not cloudy. That's just the sun hitting.
No,
the
your
window.
camera's blurry. I mean,
Oh no, it's not the camera. That's the sun hitting the window, I think.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, dropping price. Oh, I like that question. I like that. Hold on one second. Are you in any deal? Are there any deals? Ricebo, can you DM on Discord if you're on Discord? Shoot me a DM on Discord.
Who? Oh, Ricebo. Good questions.
When you okay, Brandon, I'm gonna go with that one. Question of the day. Question of the day. When selling a property, how long should you let it sit before dropping price? What percent? All right, cool. Question of the day. When selling a property, how long should you let it sit before dropping the price? What percent should you drop? Should your price drop be once you do drop it? So kind of a double layered question here, but very, very curious. And people who are selling houses, there's a lot of, I think this definitely goes beyond land. Not, I think,
Right.
This definitely goes beyond land. So that's why I like this question. And I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer, Dan.
Yeah, a lot depends on the traction, and we can get into that. But that's a really good question. Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments for if you sell houses, land, whatever it is. What's the indicator, the key indicators of, hey, it's time we should probably drop the price? Curious on everyone's thoughts on that. But yeah, that's a really solid question.
Hey, Mike Kikau, Timothy, welcome. Making gumbo from scratch while I listen to survey hacking. Love it, Ron Stevens. Double multitasking. Ricebo, I am low over 2 years older than Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Thanks again. I really want to. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna say, what is Ron Stevens making gumbo? Is he in Louisiana or something? Or
Not that I don't know.
That's a Louisiana thing.
I think he just got partnered with Mike today. Mike's gonna help him with his business.
There we go. Nice. How survey hacking can help you from the hassle to deal with the structure. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Max. That's a good point, because you can attack survey hacks when you're splitting up land. When you're splitting up a house from land, essentially, like when someone calls and they're like, hey, you want to buy the whole thing? You can offer them a good proposal. They're looking to sell the whole thing with their house. It's like, I can't buy the whole thing, but I can help you get extra money since you are looking to sell. So essentially what we can do, we can subdivide off the land. You'll make money from the land now, and then you can sell the house separately and have two transactions and hopefully get more bang for your buck there by selling them separately. And that's always a good solution for that as well.
That's a good point. When selling a property, how long should you let it sit before dropping the price? How many weeks, how many months, how many years? What percent price drop? So should it be 3 weeks, then you should drop it 10%? Again, this isn't a set in stone. Like if you're not doing it like this, you're doing it wrong. But really curious. Disposition is huge in this business, Dan. I don't know if we don't talk about it enough, but it's a huge, huge part. And being able to turn money fast is something that I think some people overlook in the business, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think going to that question, a lot depends on
like so many variables.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables, views and saves, like Mike said and Philip said as well. if you have a buyer in the pipeline, that's always the biggest indicator. Like, is someone very interested right now that there's a good chance they're going to put a good offer on? That's another good one, Ron. Like, if you have a very serious person going back for a second visit or third visit, waiting on that to go through, things like that. But it's a bunch of variables put together. It's just traction. It all comes down to traction. If it's stale, you're not getting views, you're not getting saves, you're not getting calls. Big issues going on. Look at your marketing, look at the pictures, look at the price, look at everything. You got to reevaluate at that point.
Yeah, we're in our business, guys. We can get to answering this question. We're pretty quick with price drops. Like, it does matter. Like, are you getting showings and just no offers? Why aren't people offering? Is the listing up to par? Everything like that. I mean, I will drop in the first couple of weeks if I'm like, this is overpriced. And I think that's how everyone really should be. Like, the market speaks. The market will speak sometimes in the first 24 hours, Dan. If you're in a hot market and you're overpriced, like, it might not sell.
Yeah.
You might be like, I don't know. We're very, very quick with it with our business. Some as soon as like a week, and like we just listed at the wrong price. That's what land is hard to price. It's not like
Right.
houses where you're pricing something next door. Land can be very difficult to price, and people can overprice. People underprice sometimes as well, and they sell in 2 seconds. But people definitely can overprice.
Yeah, and market, you always want to be competitive when you hit the market, so you don't come off. That's a big thing. Like, you don't want to come off stagnant and get no traction. You want to get traction off the rip. That's why we're very cautious with the price that we list at, because we know that's going to drive the days on market. It's going to drive the speed of the sale, is how you come off. It's better to come off aggressive than have to drop 2 or 3 times. You'll just have more traction. You'll have offers. You have people visiting it, and you'll sell it a lot faster rather than waiting, trying to get max money, pushing the limit, no offers now, and then having to drop and getting less later on because they see, hey, this has been listed 5 months. They don't have traction. Let's go lowball them.
Yep. Donna said the market speaks to you 100%. The market, you got to listen to the market. Like, some people are so hard-headed with like what they think their property's worth. Like, your property's not worth that if someone is not willing to pay that. That's the point blank kind of part. But let's get rolling here, Dan.
Right.
I didn't want to do a PowerPoint style for this. I want to get action, or do action with this, walking through selecting a market, walking through building a list. Let's do some save search. I think that's what I want to do here for survey hacking. Let's get pretty broad with it, do some save search so we can get a good list. And let's get rolling here.
Let's do it.
I'm going to hide this question. If you guys have questions as we're going through here, let me make sure I didn't miss anything up here. If you guys have questions, you could how can survey hacking help you from the hassle to deal with the structure?
That's what I kind of went over with subdividing it off.
Yeah. 100% making gumbo from scratch. All right, let me share my, no, I'm not sure why I read that again, but I did. All right, let's get rolling. All right. So survey hacking, let's just first kind of define it, Dan, or we have defined it. Survey hacking is buying a portion of a property. It is as simple as that. It is buying a portion of the property. If someone owns 50 acres with a house, you can survey hack it by buying 49 of the acres. You can survey hack it by buying 40 of the acres. It doesn't matter. Buying a portion of a property. Okay, so if you have 50 acres in a house, you cut off the house in terms of you survey off the house. They keep 2 acres in the house. You buy 48 acres. You flip it. You end up subdividing on the back end. Whatever you do on the back end doesn't matter. Survey hacking is you are targeting property to buy a portion of the property. Really,
it's important to note too. You take one parcel and make multiple parcels, but they keep part of the parcel as well. So what you can make one or more of the parcel. There are no rules really with survey hacking. There's it's not very defined in terms of the rules of what you can and can't do. Obviously, you have to buy less than what the property's total acreage or size is. That's one of the only rules. Other than that, like, you can subdivide off of them. You can buy one, sell it as a whole. You can buy 5 acres if it's a 100-acre lot and just sell the 5 acres. You can buy 95 acres and split it up, and they keep 5 acres. So there aren't a lot of rules with it. It's very flexible. That's why it works so well, is because you can negotiate and come to terms and be very flexible with the sellers. They don't need to sell 90% of their property. They don't need to sell 5% of their property. You can meet in the middle. You can negotiate. You can subdivide if you want and create different things from that. So there's lots of opportunities with it.
100%. 100%. Where do you want let me just pull into a property real fast and just kind of break off what it looks like. We can choose literally any property here. Let's just choose. Hold on one second.
And this works so well. While you're pulling this up, this works so well for a couple reasons. One, your inventory, you know, you get much more inventory potential on potential acquisitions. So what I mean by that is you can target properties with houses, because when there's a house in your survey hacking, there are a little bit more rules because you have to subdivide off their house. So they can keep as much land as they want around their house potentially, but they need to keep their house, right? So it's really good for people who need money, but they don't want to sell their house. A lot of people don't have a lot of assets under them. So this is one of their asset is their property, and their property is on land. So they can liquidate their land to get cash with keeping their house. So if they're in a financial pinch and they're going to get foreclosed on or something, they don't want to lose their whole asset. Maybe they can get out of it by selling part of their asset, which is their land. That's why it works so well. You don't need to do it with houses though. You can do it with just vacant land. It works very, very well for vacant land. That's what most people target. And you just buy part of their land because they maybe don't need 200 acres. They maybe don't need 50. They want to keep 10. They want to keep 20. And they need the money for something.
It might be too awkward of a parcel. Give me a second.
Get one with good road frontage.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go right here. This is a pretty normal one here. Right here, we'll go. All right, cool. Let's get out of here. All right. Right here, we have a parcel. It looks like 7.356 acres. There is a structure on here. Let's just assume this is a house, guys, for learning purposes. So yeah, you have good road frontage over here. Let's assume this is all legal access, everything like that. We have 7 acres. So what you're literally doing, and again, this could be you're buying all of this land over here, and you're buying 6 of the 7.3 acres. They're keeping their house, everything like that. It could also be you're only buying 2 of these acres. It really, there's so many factors that go into it. Looks like it's more than that in terms of the acreage here, Dan. But you're buying a portion. So they keep this side, you buy this side. And the advantages, someone asked about the advantages, factors, advantages, everything like that. This is a strategy that came up very, very organically. It's when we're targeting big properties and they call us back and they say, I don't want to sell my whole land, but I'll sell X acres of my land. Now this is a strategy where we are actually targeting that, whether it's with houses or without houses. It is targeting and buying a portion of the land. Does that make sense there, Dan? You think that makes sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I was going to say something and now I kind of lost my train of thought. Shit, what was I going to say? It was, it was something to do with the house. Never mind. Keep going.
Let's go to building a list here. So what we're going to do here. So let's target this. There's
it worked. This is how we also come. This is what it was. This is how we also came up with it was before we had the vacant lots AI button, remove all the houses. We were sending 10, 15% of our letters in our text to houses on it. And they're like, I can sell my land, but I can't sell my house. So it fell into our lap naturally because we were accidentally sending letters for land when people had houses on it because the data was bad before the vacant lots AI. And then that fell into our lap. That's how we came up with it originally.
This is a not brand new strategy, but relative to so many other things. Like this is something we came up with ourselves pretty organically in the last 12 months because
a lot of people are doing it.
We're getting deals like that, but they're still compared to the market, Dan, no one's doing, you know what I'm saying? Compared to,
so much,
you know what I mean? And this is something that I think people are going to look back at 5, 10 years, even 10 years from now, because this will still be working. And like people who started survey hacking in 2025 be like, shit, it was so easy back then, like getting these deals, it just made sense. And like there's gonna be people making so much money doing this strategy. That's why I'm so optimistic about it. Are deal funders generally okay with the time frame on this? I mean, it's the same thing. You just got to make sure you line up the survey, Devin, in terms of having the survey all lined up, everything like that. Anyone compared response rates on marketing? I'm gonna pull this question up and then we'll get to building a list. Anyone compare response rates on marketing to survey hacks versus full parcel blind offers? Feel like it should be higher. 100%. You're gonna get way higher. It matters if you're pricing them out, Philip. Like you gotta be. I talked to someone. He's like, just the wording, the copy on the letter for this is very important. Like how you cannot make it too confusing because some of these people are gonna read this like, what the hell are you talking about? Like you need to.
Who sent a letter? In Discord, I think Nick sent what he's his letter
for survey hacks in particular.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It was cool. He got it. It was a cool little letter. I'll try to pull it up.
But yeah, it's about the wording. You got to test things out with something like this. A/B testing, like response rates, stuff like that, I think is huge when you're being more dialed into a specific strategy. How does the new survey hack affect the seller's mortgage? Will that create any negative issues? Will mortgage lender ask for new appraisal or fees to change deed of trust? so many of these properties are fully paid off. I mean, realistically, that's a good point. And
For
I think
houses, it's more important for
yeah,
houses.
it's going to differ from bank to bank. I think from lender to lender. They might take some, they might want some of that money down that they get for selling the 40 acre. If they sell 40 out of 50 acres, like they might want some of that money, the cash that they collected,
Definitely. Yeah.
or they will probably want some of
Maybe a
that.
partial payoff, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've done those situations of so many of these people who own 50 acres in a house own the property outright and there's no mortgage on it. Not obviously that's far from 100% of it. But yeah, that's definitely a big portion. It's got to be bank to bank.
Yeah, and someone asked the disadvantages. Angelina said the disadvantages and advantages. I think the main advantages is one, you increase your inventory because now you can go after houses too, and you increase sellers' interest because a lot of people don't want to sell their whole property. They want to sell part of it. You'll find out. And that's just like a mental barrier. They want to keep some of it, whatever it is. So your inventory increases tremendously. Now you can attack houses in rural America that are on land, and you can attack land. So it dramatically increases inventory. Competition is very, very low because no one else is doing it. You start sending these letters out to people, they have never gotten a letter like this. I guarantee it. There's very little of this going on, and there's a really high opportunity for it. So those are the three main things. Demand goes up. It's easier to acquire because of the value you're providing them. It's unique. It's different. Sellers are more interested.
The only disadvantage is the moving parts. There's more moving.
Yeah, it's more work. That's the main disadvantage. I have the operations. You got to get a surveyor out there. It takes a little more time. It's going to be a little more work, more parts and pieces.
Yeah. Philip said 40% of all homes are owned free and clean in the U.S. That's crazy. I'd imagine rural much higher, like you said. Lenders allow partial releases. Yeah. So yeah, the lenders will figure it out, I think, for the most part. How much?
But that's going to be something you're going to need to negotiate with the person because they're going to want that cash, and you're going to say, "Hey, this cash has to go towards your home. It's going to be paid off towards, you're going to get 60,000 paid off, and then you can keep 20." Like that stuff is going to come up.
100%. How much do you budget for survey plats recording? It very, very relative, or it matters what you're doing. So if you're doing 100 acres, it's going to be more than if you're doing 5 acres. If you're subdividing it into more, it really is dependent on the property. All right, let's talk about those acreages. We have some acreage questions in there. Let's get to building a list here. Let's go to what county is this, Dan? Is this Scioto? Looks like Scioto.
Zoom in and you'll see it at the top right.
It says it right there. Oh, Adams. Okay. West Union's Adams. Yeah. Okay. Let's go Adams County, Ohio. Let's just build out a list. So I'm going to go advanced search. No, I'm not going to go advanced search. I'm going to go vacant lots. And I want to build a pretty detailed list. I'm going to do vacant lots first, and we're going to save a search. We're going to put them all in here. And we can, even on the back end with the Excel, we can organize them on the back end. But let's go Adams County, Ohio. There's no perfect way to do this, Dan. Like you can do this literally with any property in the United States.
Yeah, and remove that question, Ron. Remove the question so it's easier to see.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to zoom in a couple. Oh, that's really zoomed. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, that question's not coming up? Oh, I'm trying to
get that question out.
Hide.
There we go.
Cool. All right, Adams County, Ohio. Acreage, Dan. What are we gonna do? We're doing vacant lots for now. Let's start with 20 and let's go 20 plus. I'm not gonna have any top number, any maximum. So is there a way, Dan, where we think we do things that weren't sold in the last 5 years or something?
You can. I wouldn't for this.
Okay. Slope.
Adams does get pretty sloped in the southeast.
So I'm going to do under 15%. So let me just see real fast. Okay. So under 15. So this is the highest slope. And I just want
30.
Yeah, you don't need a lot. 30 seems high even, honestly.
Try that.
You'll get 20, but we're going 20 acres, Dan. Let's do under 10 and let's do like 15.
That's going to be harder to get.
What do you mean?
Maybe. We'll see the results. We'll play with it. We'll play with it.
Yeah, let's play with that a little bit.
We have other videos on slope too, how to choose your filters as well for that.
We're going to do not landlocked. Should we do road frontage here?
Yes, definitely.
We need minimum like 500.
Yeah, and then get rid of, just put NA for not landlocked if you're going to do road frontage.
Okay. So minimum 500 road frontage. We have at least 15% of the property. At least 15% of the property has a slope under 10%. So mild slope, essentially. This area down here, this can get pretty sloped. I'm curious to see what this looks like. We can play with this. That's what you're going to have to do. But anything else we want to do here, Dan?
No, you can do wetlands and FEMA. You can
Maximum
definitely
percentage.
do that.
Let's just do
There's not a lot of wet. Knowing this area though, around, it's not going to be a huge
true.
concern. You
Yeah,
can
I'm
do
not worried about. Let's just do not a maximum percentage for FEMA 75. Max percentage for no, that's probably
Just
too
do
high.
one or the other.
Let's do 60 and 60.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see what we come up with now.
457. So nothing. That's actually a decent amount. When we're talking about 500 feet of road frontage, it's a decent amount. What you can do here, hit list
This is
view.
a big list though for something like
That's
this.
what I mean. Like this is a
This is
very
a niche. Like that's a big list for a niche.
What county did I do? I thought I did Adams.
You did do Adams.
This is Adams. No, this isn't.
That looks like Scioto. Yeah, Adams.
That's not Adams.
Is it not? Where's Adams?
Hold on 1 second. Just gotta refresh real fast. I'll get that right back up. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's go filtered. I'll do this real fast. Ohio. Adams. Acres 20 plus. And we did under 10%. We did 15% of the properties under 10. NA for landlocked, road frontage 500 minimum. I think we did 60 and 60 for this. We'll keep it there. 20 plus. Everything's good here. Adams, Ohio. All right, we're good. Let's hit apply. And let's interesting. We'll take a look at that. All right, let's just look at the type of properties we got. So again, these are the type of properties down here. You see how we didn't get any in this area. These ones, if you zoom in here and you go, let's just go to one of these properties here, Dan, real fast. So we go here and we look at the slope. Like, why is this property not in here? This is, let me see if the acreage. Okay, it's only 17 acres, so that's why. That one's landlocked. All right, this property, for example, 162 acres. So it's got 4%. I'm sorry, under 10%. It's got 4.73 and 1.5. So this property only has 6% of the property or so is under that 10% slope. You can see 89% of this property is extreme slope. And that's the value of this software, guys. Again, there's a free trial in the description. You getting rid of these really slow properties. This property is a mountain. Like this is a literal like side of the mountain. You can see how this looks. Maybe you have a little flat on the road frontage. And you can see that, but overall, like this is a mountainous property. We don't want to target these, especially for something like survey hacking.
Definitely not. Maybe for standard, but yeah, you don't want that.
Let's see if these ones, Dan, that are kind of borderline. So properties like these, it's got this road. Like this is perfect. This is an amazing.
That's
property.
What we're going to target. Click that. What ours are, and let's look at the slope.
This is going to be completely.
We can work backwards from here on our filters. If we want all the land to look like this.
But the acreage matters so much, Dan, with this. So that's the thing. Like this is 64 acres. So like, okay, we have whatever. We have minimal slope, 32% minimal. You can see how
show on that button real quick.
You can see the buildable spots here. Like you can see a clear buildable spot. This is probably, I don't know, this might be 15 acres, honestly, this buildable spot here, if this is 60 acres. But a perfect property to survey hack. Like, and all a survey hack is, as you're targeting these guys, a survey hacking is like, okay, you want to keep 2 acres, Mr. Seller, let's keep the 2 acres. We'll give you this. This is 5 acres, for example, not 2. But you want to keep 5 acres, you keep that. I'll take the rest. I'll offer you X dollars. They're happy because they can keep some land, everything like that. You're happy because you have a piece of property to flip, or you can even subdivide that more. And that's where it gets really interesting, is you can still subdivide this property off, and you can have, they keep the 5 acres and you subdivide and you keep these other ones. That's 30 acres. And then you could have 3 separate parcels that you have, and you can make a ton of money doing this. You provide really good value to the seller because they're getting money for their 5 acres. They are for their 55 acres. Essentially, you have 14, 14 and 30. They keep their 5 acres. They make good money selling this, and they're happy because they kept some land as well. So this is what an ideal survey hack looks like, Dan.
Yeah, that is. But yeah, you got to talk to them and negotiate it out. Some people don't want you surveying it off into multiple. Some don't care. So just make sure to be transparent with them as well on that. But that's an example. This is good how to do it, Ron. Maybe we export the list now and show them where it shows the road frontage, or not the road frontage, where it shows, yeah, I guess because you can target this when we're sending neutral letters. What key information are we looking at, Ron?
I mean, getting the list is the most important thing if you're sending neutral. You can also send these and like what you're offering for different acreage range, but I think the neutral letters work the best for something like this, where you're sending like, okay, I'm interested in buying a portion of your land. Keep it very simple on these letters, guys. When you're doing this 1-page letter, a postcard, anything like that, then your goal is to get these people calling you back, like, and then making a deal happen. They're interested. You got them on the phone. They're interested. All right, let's make something happen. You have 30 acres. I can buy up to 28, 29, or I can buy anything under that. We just got to make the numbers work.
Yeah, you got to get them on the phone. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have asked about acreage range. Let me export though, Dan.
I like minimum 20 because you got to realize, like, if you have 20, you want to buy at least a few. Like, I don't think I mean, certain areas, maybe you don't want to subdivide off, survey hack off 2 acres necessarily. That's the minimum you do. But as long as you can get like 5, 10, 15 acres to yourself to work with, I think that's a good place. That's why 20 is kind of the minimum I'd start with.
Yeah, let's just pull up. I agree. So what we would do next, and I'm going to do that in a second here. Give me a second. As the export goes through, I'm going to just go back for a second. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to save this list, and I'll do Adams County, Ohio, 20+ acre survey hack vacant. So you can save this list, and then you can do the same exact thing for houses. So you go back here before I pull up the Excel. You go back here, you go back to filtered search here, and we change this up to residential properties, and we have 20+. Are we going to want? I think we're going to want to add some more road frontage. I think that's the one thing you want to add a little more of.
Why?
Just because you're going to have to be able to keep their house.
Shit, pull up a list with 500. Let's look at them.
Okay, let's go 500 to 600 so we can look at what that looks like. Probably not going to be much area.
And play with this. You can also go into land use. Show them the land use real quick. Because
see, like, I mean, that's not in like, you don't even see the residential there. Hold on one second, in. Yeah, like your road frontage right here, all these houses and structures there. That's obviously not ideal. Something like this. Yeah, your property's right there. You got multiple road frontage. You wanted me to pull up land use, Dan?
Yeah, the land use, play backwards with that, where our AI is on the vacant lots one. You can go down the land use.
You're saying don't hit this?
You can just test it out in the areas. You can go down the land use and put single family homes too.
Where is that?
It's up there somewhere. Look right there. Land use is single family residence. That says 2 or more residential, and you can put in different things. You can use this button just for the sake of it, Ron. Don't put anything.
Got it.
But like, if you can test out those land use things as well. That's all data we have.
But then you'd build a separate list with houses on it. You'll want to send the letter out a little differently. But let's get up this list real fast, so Dan, so we can walk through this. Let me go back here. Order history. Again, there's 4.
And if you wanted to text too, you just click that button that says skip trace. Yeah, skip trace this list at checkout, and it will combine your files. So the phone numbers, email addresses, all of that stuff, do not contact, we'll combine it into your Excel sheet as well together, and you have one clean, really good list. We just didn't do that for the sake of this, the time we have, because skip tracing takes time to generate.
Yep, that's a good point. Give me 1 second, guys. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Have videos come out 3-4 times a week. Try to provide as much value to you guys as possible. We got a few more minutes here. Let me pull this back up here.
And while you're pulling that up, this seems to be a subcategory of subdividing, and there can obviously be county restrictions with subdividing land. Would you recommend researching county restrictions prior to mailing and marketing, or is it different because it's not necessarily land since there's a structure on it, a home on it? No, yes, you definitely want to check. Similar to subdividing, it is a category of subdividing. You are surveying it off, so you do want to check county restrictions before. You're not doing a major subdivide on most of them, but in terms of like creating 10 parcels, things like, you always want to check though if you can subdivide. But a lot of times the restrictions are a lot less because you're going to subdivide 5, 10, 20 acres off of it, and not creating as many parcels as you do with the standard minor subdivide.
So quickly, this is essentially if we're trying to send a letter, important things that you're looking for on here, like data points that you can use. And again, there's so much open-endedness. That's what I like about this strategy so much. There's so much opportunity because there's nothing like that straightforward. So you have a lot of acres here. Road frontage here, very important. Wetlands and FEMA, not very important for this area, like Dan said. So now you have the slope average. This is interesting data right here that you have on slope. So you have all these different. You can see how sloped these properties are. You can see the percentage of extreme slope. Like this is crazy. Like some of these, like the quality of some of these properties that are only 5, 10, 12% extreme slope. And then you have the other ones that are 56%, but they also have minimal slope, 12%. So many different data points you can use here, Dan, as I keep going through this list. Is there anything that's sticking out to you, Dan? I think using road frontage is definitely key. And as you get more advanced with survey hacking, you start attacking these survey hacks with the intention to subdivide more than just one parcel. So you attack those 50 acres with 2,000 feet of road frontage, where you're going to let them keep 2, 5, 10 acres, and you're going to split up the rest into 5, 8 acre parcels or whatever that looks like. That's like the next step to this, where again, there's so much opportunity in this market.
Absolutely. I like it.
Anything else to add here, Dan?
No, I think we're good to go. This was great. I hope you guys are doing this because no one else is attacking these deals. It's kind of like it's just another niche along with minor subdivides, along with high ticket double closing. I mean, those are the 3 best niches we decided. High ticket double closing. We did YouTube webinars on that and videos. So just standard minor subdivides and survey hacking. You go after those 3. I'm telling you, you guys will crush it. Not a lot of people are doing this.
Phil asked, do investors pay for surveys for subdivides? It's all negotiable with your lenders. There's no like set way and what investors should or shouldn't do. But yeah, that's all negotiable with the lender or with an investor. Other than that, guys, we got to hop in our members call, hit that subscribe button. There is a free 14-day Land Portal trial, the software we're going over. Yeah, let us know if you